Knocked this out.
Okay, so welcome to Thought Garden on the Air, where we explore the stories, strategies, and skills that shape the most compelling personal brands and talented professionals today. I'm your host, Alexis Quintal, CEO and owner of Rosarium. We're a personal branding and PR firm dedicated to helping entrepreneurs, business leaders, and influencers monetize and elevate their personal brands to achieve their goals. So, whether you're an entrepreneur, an influencer, or an expert building your unique narrative, we're here to amplify your voice. And so today we're speaking with Ryan Listerman, Director of Operations at Bay Area Roof and Remodel, owner of Selling University, and author of The Sales Revolution: Humanity's Stand Against Sales AI. So, welcome, Ryan.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's dive right in. I've got a background in construction and sales training, and you're an author. So, what has led you to do all these various paths?
I don't say no a lot.
True.
I like to chase things that seem to make sense for, I usually if I have I would say that I read a book a long time ago. It was a Grant Cardone book,
Yeah.
and it was one of his 10X books.
Yep.
And then he talked about having a lot of, if you have a lead, having a bunch of different things that you can offer that lead. Like getting the
Mhm.
lead was hard enough to do, and then losing that lead just because you couldn't provide a service for them
Right.
was a bit of a mistake from an entrepreneur standpoint. Now, it's a controversial take because a lot of people feel like they should be very targeted, very precise, and expert in their
Mhm.
field, which I don't
Yeah.
disagree with. But I do feel like if you're an entrepreneur, solving problems is your core. And I'll take it. I started my entrepreneur journey in roofing. Well, when you're doing roofing, a lot of times people need other things, whether it's windows, siding, bathrooms, kitchens. I tend to, when someone would ask me like a referral for, hey, do you know someone that does this?
Yeah.
I wanted to have an answer for them. I just didn't
True.
want to say, oh, I
Right.
don't know anyone. So
Yeah.
originally started with me just trying to have an answer for that. Hey, do you know someone that does this?
Mhm.
And the more I found those people that that, I would figure out how to like, okay, now if I'm bringing this person a bunch of different people, how can we work together where I can make some money off this too?
Yeah.
And then it transitioned to more of, I acquired a lot of skills in what I did for construction from a
Mhm.
marketing standpoint, a business operations standpoint, a sales standpoint. And I got to more of and then people started asking me questions about how business works. And I was able to leverage already some of my existing knowledge to solve problems in that aspect. So I would say that where I've gotten to today is just always being open to try to help someone
Yeah.
and not saying no initially.
Yeah. And part of that is just like realizing all the resources that you can offer. And I like what you said too about not having to turn anyone away. That's basically exactly the same model I started with Rosarium and why I call it a collective, because it's really like anything marketing PR related you need under one roof. So that way,
Yeah.
because a lot of people need more than just social media or just PR. So I can help facilitate anything they need, basically. And like you, I don't really say no very often.
When you're serving businesses, usually the end goal for everything you do in business is to help the client make more money.
Mhm.
So even if you're just like, say you're doing merchant services, which is credit card processing, like how do you get the customer more money? I know
Yeah.
I've got a friend who's in merchant services that you know as well, that he started building out CRMs for these clients because he was,
Right. What other
you know,
challenges do they
yeah,
have
exactly. So
you can help
he
them with?
leveraged his merchant services into more of a business offering. Hey, I'm also going to help you generate revenue.
Yeah.
Cap-
And they're more likely to spend more with you, stay with you, be loyal. It all
Yeah,
kind of lines up.
yeah.
So
So
why would
even
you
when
say why do you say you have a unique sales technique? What's unique about it?
I wouldn't say that my sales technique is unique. I think that sales is pretty simple at its core. It's about solving problems. So I think my approach is unique in the standpoint that there's a lot of noise when it comes to sales and sales training about different closing techniques and different presentation strategies. But at the core, at the end of the day, the most important thing is, all right, can I identify the problem that my client has that I can solve?
Mhm.
And putting away, making kind of humbling yourself and thinking about them and not about
Mhm.
yourself in the
Right.
sales presentation. And
That's probably what's unique is because those salespeople are always thinking about themselves.
yeah, I think that is unique to not be self-absorbed in our
Mm,
culture. So that might
yeah.
be, but I think good sales at its core is that.
Yeah. Have you had any mentors along the way that have helped shape your
Oh
journey?
gosh, yes. When I first got in this industry, there was a guy by the name of Robert, and he was a interior remodeler at this construction company. It was my first commission sales job. I had been in corporate sales a long time, but the corporate sales, you got a salary and you're getting bonuses. So there's a little bit of
Mhm.
stability, a little bit of I know there's a paycheck every week. When I first got into commission sales, where it's like you can make a lot of money each week, but you could also make $0 sometimes. This guy helped me, he was I feel like every sales office has this guy, the veteran that does a lot. He does like most of the company's revenue. Like,
Yeah.
he probably does 60 to 7% of the company's revenue just by himself. And, those guys do like to they're people think like that type of person is gonna be very walled off, don't wanna deal with you, or they're gonna be egotistical and not wanna help. Actually, I usually find it's the exact opposite. Those types of guys do know that with the team benefits, they benefit. Especially if they've been with the organization a long time, they know that if the organization does well, there's gonna be just more leads coming in general. So they're more willing to help, but they're not willing to put up with someone with a they only wanna help people that aren't gonna push back. They don't wanna give out their information if you're gonna be difficult to be tau if you're very easy to be taught, then they're gonna wanna
Mhm.
work with you, and that was all
Yeah.
ears with this guy and was very interested in everything. We also clicked from a humor standpoint. I was
Okay.
able to I just rode with him, absorbed everything, and so that was a guy that definitely influenced me a lot in sales at the beginning, and then throughout my travels, I've always looked up to a lot of sales trainers, sales coaches in the industry, read books, things like that. So I'm always looking for. There's always something new to learn in sales. It's an industry that is
Yeah.
ever evolving.
It is. It really is. Well, and at Rosarium, we specialize in personal branding. I'd love to know how you define your own personal brand, especially where you're teetering into two, as most people would see, completely different industries.
Yeah,
So, how do you define your personal brand?
I would say that my personal brand, the way I would define my personal brand, is I always want to be that person that knows a guy.
Yeah,
I want you to
or girl.
come to me because you're like stuck. If you're stuck with something, like, hey, you know what? Ryan might know a way out of this.
Mhm.
But if you're that guy, you also have to be willing to constantly have your phone on you. It's a
Yeah.
sacrifice to be that type of person is to be excited because it's the other strength about you think about Google, it's one of its strengths is it has a lot of answers and also at any given time you can go to it and ask questions.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard to
24/7.
filter through it yourself. That's why that personal touch of understanding what you're asking, why you're asking
Mhm.
it, knowing someone personally right away that they can place you to, but you have to also be accessible. I just had one 30 minutes ago. An old roofing friend texted me a question about something, and I immediately called him. There was no financial benefit to me doing so, but I know that my brand is someone that, "Hey, you took the time to reach out to me. I can take the time to answer your basic question."
Okay. Yeah, true. Because you never know where how that could turn around to something that
Yeah.
might help
You're
you
just
later. But
yeah, you if you're s I
I
feel
really
like
like
if
that.
you're, goodwill's capital, so, like, you store up goodwill, you're storing up capital, and
Yeah.
eventually, you never know where that's gonna come back to you.
Yeah. So I guess that's probably one technique of how you build your own authority and following. Do you have any other techniques that have helped you build that?
So, like, building my brand?
Yeah, building your brand and your following and just like having people think of you when they
Social
help.
media and networking are
Mhm.
friends, and this is
Yeah.
something I'll talk to entrepreneurs. A lot of entrepreneurs will have, I call them mental blocks. They'll have mental blocks
Mm,
on what certain things are. One of the big mental blocks they have is being a salesperson. The other one is social media. I'll talk to a lot of
yeah.
entrepreneurs that I don't like social media. I don't
Yeah.
want to be a part of it. I don't want to just post about. I don't want to be bragging. That's
Right.
not good social media tactics. And if you're avoiding social media this day and age, eliminating you're basically putting yourself out of business. I don't even know
Right.
how you can compete. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think people look at the hustle culture on social media and think like everything if you're building a personal brand, you have to go on there, post your car or post about your paycheck. No, just post about the things that you like, that you think bring other people value, and
Mhm.
make it about them, and now they wanna come to your social media because, "Hey, this social media account gives me good information every time I'm on it."
Yeah, breaking through that noise,
Yeah.
negativity, but also people that are just trying to sell on social media. Like no one really likes that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a difference between selling and actually and trying to bash someone over the head with your message.
Mhm. Yeah, like a hard sell.
Yeah, and good selling what most people think is selling isn't actually selling, it's actually just noise. Good
Mhm.
selling, you don't even know is happening until you're finally on the
Exactly.
dotted line.
Right, exactly. Like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
But in a good way. 'Cause I've
Mhm.
had that happen where I'm like, later on, I'm like, wow, dumb.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a dumb
Yeah, yeah.
purchase. I'll still make it a smart purchase.
That's good sales is you're not gonna good sales means you don't have buyer's remorse.
Exactly.
If I done my job well, you do not have buyer's remorse,
Yeah.
because you got what you wanted, what you needed at a price
Yeah.
that you were comfortable paying.
Yeah, I recently had a client that was it was like 2 weeks in, we were just showing him, like, our personal brand analysis, and he was like, "Oh, this is already worth the money I spent." I'm like, "Okay, we
Yeah.
haven't even done anything yet." So
Yep.
that's the best compliment I can get.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, you're, that yeah, that they don't wanna return your service, basically.
Not that there are any returns allowed, but
Yeah, exactly.
good to know. They don't even think of that.
Correct.
So when you're training people on sales, what do you find is the most common, like, mindset or skills gap that, like, you need to help people overcome?
The first one is a lot of times is that I don't wanna be too salesy. I get where that's coming from, I understand what they mean, but it's a mental block into essentially being an excuse for not pushing farther than you should.
Mhm.
The I don't wanna be too salesy means that I just wanna a lot of times that means because I don't wanna be salesy, no one wants to
Yeah,
be
no.
salesy, that
Yeah.
doesn't work. But I always find that person that's struggling in sales that says, "I don't wanna be too salesy." They're the person that just writes the estimate, leaves it at the doorstep, and says, "Hey, call me if you wanna move forward."
And then you're
That's
kinda
not
waiting on
sales.
them.
That's
No.
literally just that's Amazon. That's, "Hey, here's your price. Click buy. Add it to the cart or not. I don't it doesn't bother me."
Yeah.
So that is one where, overcoming those initial mental blocks of I don't wanna be too salesy, and also the I'm not a salesperson, that
Mhm.
block of I think a lot of people don't understand when they become an entrepreneur and they immediately become a salesperson. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what you do. Once you leave like one of the benefits of being let's just say like something simple. Let's say you're a widget manufacturer and you work at a widget factory.
What even is
The
that?
benefit exactly. So, you make your widgets, you're, like, the best at making widgets. You're like, "I'm so good at making widgets, I wanna start my own widget company." So, you start your own widget company. One of the benefits of making those widgets for the widget factory was they already had a sales team in place selling the widgets and giving you something to do. So, once you
Mhm.
start your own business, your own independent thing, you eliminate any sales support you had before that you probably didn't even know existed. Like, I think a lot of people that work corporate work in very there might be a financial planner that only does, like, analysts or maybe someone for those a PR person that all they did was manage people's personal and public relations. They didn't necessarily have to get the client, they just managed the client that existed. They don't understand how that client got there, and they just
Yeah.
thought that, "Oh, just people just show up at the door because they know we do good work, and then I do my thing." There's a level of sales involved in there that once you
Mhm.
leave the umbrella of the large organization, you no longer have that as a benefit, and you have to become that salesperson.
So what advice would you give to a new entrepreneur who's lost on what to do when it comes in sales and maybe is thinking about investing in sales training?
Yeah, the best advice I would give right off the bat is first of all, recognize that you are in sales, that you do need to start training in sales.
Yeah.
I've been in sales for 20 years now. I train in sales every day. It doesn't make sense to stop training. Think about a professional baseball player. Does he ever stop hitting the batting cages? So, like, you should always be training every day in sales. So once you recognize that you are a salesperson, now it's okay, how do I keep getting better at sales? And
Mhm.
identifying it doesn't mean you have to have the answers that day or this is the course I'm gonna start and this is what I'm gonna study for the next 10 years. You might study something different every day, but you should be training as much as you would if you were trying to become a top tier professional athlete. Yeah, yes, you might be born with some natural skills. Maybe you're better. Maybe you're naturally gifted in something versus something else, but you're still gonna be training every day at it.
Yeah.
Same thing goes for sales.
Right. It sounds like a therapy session. First, you have to accept that
Yes.
this is your role.
First, you have to admit you have a
Awareness.
problem. That's that you
Yeah.
yeah.
You couldn't make your own like 12-step. What is the AA has? It's 12-step program.
Basically,
Oh,
it'd be like the Fight Club rules where rule 1 is you're a salesperson, rule 2 is see rule 1.
yeah, basically.
That's it. But,
So I heard a new term this morning. Have you ever heard of the term AQ when it comes to business? So not
um,
EQ, not
yeah.
IQ.
So what is AQ?
First off, it's my initials, so I'm already excited. And then second
Okay.
off, it's adaptability in
Okay.
business. So what
Interesting.
is your ability to be able to adapt? And so if you have a high AQ, right, you're able to pivot when things don't necessarily go right or wrong.
Yes. Okay. That would definitely be a very good entrepreneurial trait to train is adaptability.
Yeah.
Because I
Partially, it's
think
another thing though that's not really trainable. Like you can't train someone to have emotional. What's the Q stand for? Quality?
you can train, yeah,
No.
you can certainly train your emotional control. That's what all like any that's what self-growth is containing,
That's true.
controlling your discipline, controlling your outbursts. That's something I've learned over the year. I've learned from an adaptability standpoint is when things go wrong is to not think the worst right away, because then you panic and then you make even worse decisions, and you don't wanna make a decision when you're panicking because 'cause you'll end up costing yourself even more money or cause more problems. So
Yeah.
it's kinda something goes wrong and I have to adapt. I try to just focus on, first, let's make sure the customer is happy or the
Hmm.
customer's communicated with. We'll start there. And then we'll figure out a plan and start moving it step by step. That kinda keeps you from going to a bad spot emotionally. So I
Yeah.
think that's what you mean by adaptability, because
Yeah.
that could still be emotional intelligence. I
Yeah.
think that
They all go hand in hand.
yeah, I feel like they do.
But was there any times in your career where you've had to completely pivot and maybe has helped you practice your AQ?
Yeah, I was fired from a sales job. Actually, when I first moved to Florida, my first job, I worked there for a week and a half. I didn't sell anything, and it
Are you
was,
selling
one of those
knives?
no, it was Windows. It was Windows for high pressure. It was one of those really high pressure window sales companies.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Like, the system made sense, and I understood it. I just couldn't execute it.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite my that was one of the things, like, looking back, like, I was okay with. Even in the moment when I was getting fired, I was like, "I don't I get this system, and I get parts of it. I'm gonna probably there was stuff I learned from that company that I still use today, but the
Yeah.
entire system didn't quite fit my style, and I was like, "That was okay." But they fired me after my 10th sales appointment where I didn't sell anything, and that's the type of company they were, like, they weren't gonna wait too long at any
Yeah.
place. But I knew I was on the way back to the office to turn in my materials, and I was like, "Well, I came down here, I took job interviews, I took this job, and now it didn't work out." Well, so I felt sorry for myself for the first half of the drive, and the second half of the drive, I was already making phone calls for job
Right. Just
interviews.
figuring out what's next.
Yeah, I literally by the time I turned in my stuff, I had 2 job interviews lined up the next day. I got hired the next day, and I was already set I sold my first deal for that company the following Monday. I think it was a Wednesday
Yeah.
I got fired, and by Monday the next week, I was already selling for someone else and actually landing deals, so it was like, yeah, it felt good.
Yeah.
But that would be, yeah, a quick pivot.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I always feel like you're even what I'm currently doing in sales consulting is a pivot because it started with someone trying to recruit me to become, their general manager for their company, and then me turning into a consulting role instead of a full employee, and then I just started the
Nice.
LLC for it, and then I kept going with it.
Yeah. I love that. So when it comes to obviously your book is about like humanity's revolution against AI. No, I forgot the name of it, but
Yeah.
how do you help people think about like authenticity in this world of AI where people are just copying and pasting from ChatGPT and stuff like that? Like, how do you see that
Yeah.
balance?
Yeah, the biggest thing, and that's where I think a lot of people who's already going I think historically speaking, technology always does the same thing. It eliminates tasks. It's
Mhm.
even just as simple as, like, the wheel eliminated as us needing to walk everywhere. So AI is a revolutionary technology to eliminate digital tasks, and over the last 30 years, with all the computers that come into the workplace, there's a lot more task management, and I think a lot of people, a lot of careers, a lot of even college degrees revolved around managing tasks. That's
Yeah.
no longer gonna be a job that makes you any money.
Yeah.
So that's so I think there was already an influx of people because I've seen this like in my own sales training, people had bad sales presentations. Just because there wasn't AI doesn't mean there wasn't a bunch of copy and pasting, a bunch of scripts, a bunch of people just like delivering boring drawl sales presentations. Just because AI is just eliminating those people because that stuff might as well just be delivered. It's already soulless, it might as well be delivered by a machine. Now where I would say is it's always been like become more personable, build that personal brand, and then you'll cut through all the AI because you'll be that real person that
You'll
people
be a
want to connect
human.
with. Yeah.
So what's next for you? Do you have any new programs, partnerships, or another book maybe in the works?
Yeah, I am getting into my next book, and you'll be a part of the process. I'm going
Sweet.
to start interviewing and getting to know entrepreneurs and try to really dive into and create almost like a formula for success, like what are the things that make an entrepreneur successful. And
Right.
I'm gonna be almost like a college thesis paper where I'm gonna reach out to successful entrepreneurs, understand their story, get to know their especially their traits and skills, and see like at the end of it, hopefully we have A plus B divided by D times C equals X. That's the real goal, formula for success.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll keep an eye out for that one then.
Yeah,
Where can people follow you or maybe learn more about selling you?
yeah, I'm most active on LinkedIn, so look for Ryan Listerman on LinkedIn. I don't know of any other Ryan Listermans on LinkedIn. I'm
It
not.
seems like I'm gonna go look right now.
Look it up right now. I'm gonna say $20 says you don't find another one.
I found one. He's a software engineer in Missouri.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang it. Okay, so I owe you $20. That's nice of you.
He barely uses it though, so you're really
Yeah,
good.
so I guarantee I'm the only Ryan Listerman that has more than a couple thousand followers on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you're
So,
definitely.
yeah, but yeah, look for me on LinkedIn, and that'll take you to everything else where it's my book, my website, all that stuff. That's
Mhm.
the easiest way to probably find me.
We're neck and neck with followers. You have 6K at 5,500.
Yeah,
I
and
like how we always send each other our weekly insights.
I
Mine are
think I just hit 6K because I was like 5,990 this morning.
oh, congrats.
Yeah. Yeah, it starts to slow down after a while, like because you can only get so many people a week.
Yeah. Are you also doing like LinkedIn connection campaigns through LinkedIn now?
No,
It's all organic.
yeah, I just connect with people. I just shoot the
That's good.
connection out there. If there's someone that looks like they could benefit from my content, I send them a connection invite. I don't believe in I think a lot of people do is automated campaigns where they send messages and stuff like that. I don't message anyone. I just connect and then
Yeah.
they can say yes or no. And then what's great is they could possibly see my content. And then maybe after a while, I'll get people that maybe view my content more than others. And then I'll say, hey, what's going on? It's more of an authentic, I would say, yeah, I approach LinkedIn. I think that's the strategy to LinkedIn is approach it as if you were walking into a networking event.
Yeah.
I'm the type of
You
guy
want
I
to be the
walk in.
same person, right? Online as you
Yeah,
are offline. I
exactly.
think
And
you're
I
really
walk
good
in
at
a
that.
networking event with a goal to grab some business cards and then have a couple good conversations. I don't
Yeah,
ever walk in a networking event thinking I'm going to sell something today.
I know.
It's not.
And you can tell when people walk in that way and it is
Oh yeah,
a turn off.
yeah.
So
There, yeah, exactly. No one wants to talk
don't
to them.
go
In
in
fact,
with those expectations.
yeah. And in fact, you can see you watch. I've been learning about body language, and you can see
Mm,
when someone's like that and they're talking to someone. The person they're talking to, their feet are turned away from them because they just want to get out of that conversation.
yeah.
I'll watch that, and it's funny. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. With that, we conclude another episode of Thought Garden. So if you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, and social media for more inspiring stories and actionable insight. If you have a
Yeah.
story to share or know someone who does, reach out to us at rosarium.work or on our socials. We'd love to hear from you. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Thought
Sounds
Garden.
good. All right. I'll see you soon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.